Wrestling Roundup was saddened this week to learn of the passing of Pat Patterson, the first ever Intercontinental Champion, the innovator of the Royal Rumble, among many other accolades. Pat has been a mainstay in the WWE for a very long time, and it is only fitting that we start our show this week with a 10-bell salute to remember him.
A life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway and more, much more than this. I did it my way.
Hey, you listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MPR. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey.
Let's talk about some war games, because it is time for that NXT takeover. We got a couple war games matches, we got a title match, and we got a couple other matches we got to get through as well. So let's just start at the bottom and work our way up. First match on the card: Timothy Thatcher taking on Tommaso Ciampa.
This should be an interesting match, because I really don't know who's going to win. I think it will end up being a war, because both of them are really good in the ring. So it's just a matter of whether or not their styles mesh or not. I think in the end, it probably will go to Thatcher.
Yeah. Thatcher's
but
been
I
doing...
can easily see Ciampa winning.
Yeah, Thatcher's been doing these really awesome, teaching segments, and I think they've really given him something to do. As much as Ciampa is just a mainstay in NXT, I think they can give the win to Thatcher and use Ciampa to build him up a little bit. And then, we'll see where Thatcher ends up going from there. Same with Ciampa. Because, to be fair, I don't think either of them have much to do if this is the feud ender. This is just a singles match on the card. I don't know if we're going to end up going to gimmick matches with these guys later on, or whether we're going to try and ramp it up and this is going to be a long-running feud. It is possible that this takes us through to 2021.
I don't really see this going beyond Saturday. Just because, unless your name is Johnny Gargano, you don't have a long feud with Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah. And if your name's Johnny Gargano, you just have an everlasting feud that never ends. Yeah, I can see that. We'll have to wait and see what happens with these two guys and where they go after this. Because one feud that we probably didn't think would go this long, Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes, have been killing it on the comedy side of things, and they got a strap match booked for War Games.
This will be interesting. I think Dexter Lumis does win, but I think this is going to be one of the more entertaining matches of the night. Because I think they can definitely bring out a lot of comedy and stuff. And Dexter Lumis is just crazy. So there's no telling what he'll do with a strap in his hands. I don't really see Cameron Grimes winning here, but they have surprised me before, and this is NXT. Dexter really doesn't have to win here.
To be fair, do we ever see Cameron Grimes winning?
Yeah, I have a personal vendetta against him, so that explains my picks. But yeah, I like Lumis here going over Grimes.
Yeah, I think these two have shown that they can do a good funnies, a good entertainment the whole way through. The the crazy psychotic shtick of Loomis really works well with the just over-the-top acting of Grimes. And they've been good. Again, I didn't think their feud was going to go this long. I thought it was going to be a little bit of a bit here and there. But it's gone on long. The strap match, an interesting stipulation. Loomis stood tall this week on NXT. Honestly, if this was a normal feud between two guys, I'd have to take Cameron Grimes just because of how everything's been stacked against him, you know. He's been made to look like a fool. He was on his back the show before. He's lost all the matches beforehand. But, you know, it is Cameron Grimes, so I'm also going to take Dexter Loomis in this. Just because it's Loomis, and just because his opponent is Cameron Grimes. But, as you say, I fully expect this to be one of, if not the most pure entertainment matches on the card. I'm not going to be not saying it's going to be bad between the ropes, but that's not why we're all here watching Cameron Grimes versus Loomis in a strap match.
Yeah, it's definitely for Dexter Loomis and his crazy antics.
But yeah, so looking forward to that one. That one should be a good one to watch. The only title match on the show, to be fair, most of the other titles are a little bit busy with a couple matches we'll talk about later on, but the NXT North American Championship, it's going to be on the line in a triple threat match. The human fluke, Leon Ruff, will be defending against Damian Priest and Johnny Gargano, who has found himself some extra friends.
I've just enjoyed this run by Leon Ruff, because it's just so random and unexpected. And that's what I really enjoy about wrestling, is when you just don't see it coming. With that said, I think the miracle run ends here. But hey, you could say he was a champion for at least a month.
It's longer than we thought he'd last.
Yeah. I think Damian Priest reclaims the title in this match.
Okay. Yeah, I do think the only piece to keep an eye out on is Johnny Gargano's new friends. He's had a couple of them show up in Scream masks. Has the potential to do something here to try and run away with the belt. My preferred outcome of this match, just because the feud has been Priest versus Gargano, with Ruff being sort of a tool for Priest, would actually be Leon Ruff pinning Damian Priest. And just, we're going full in on Ruff here. And Priest is just sort of stuck in that, hold on, I gave you this opportunity and everything to mess with Gargano. You weren't meant to actually win, kind of piece. But I'd
be down for that.
Yeah. Let's just go full in on Leon Ruff.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, if you're not, I don't really like the hot potato they've been playing with the title. So I would be down for Leon Ruff retaining here. But in the end of the day, I don't know how long he can actually be champion. Because it's not even believable that he's supposed to be champion right now. Let alone defend against a Triple Crown champion and the previous champion.
Yeah, I think what you said is the option with Damian Priest walking out with the title again is probably the most likely option. Second likely being Gargano and his mates helping him pick up a win. Third likely option is Leon Ruff somehow accidentally retaining. But yeah, it's an option. It's sitting there. It's got like a 2% chance.
Oh, so you're giving it the Dolph Ziggler chance.
2%'s a lot more than Dolph Ziggler had. He defied the odds.
That's what we gave Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, true.
Back in the day.
We just keep trying to lower it and lower it and lower it, but there's a chance. Do you want to talk about men's War Games or women's War Games match first up?
I'm going with women's because I think the men's is the main event.
Okay. Team Shotzi versus Team Candice. Team Shotzi consisting of Shotzi Blackheart, Ember Moon, Rhea Ripley, and Io Shirai, taking on Team Candice, which consists of Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and Toni Storm.
This should be very, very interesting. With the Reese everything is for me is screaming Team Shotzi, but with the recent heel turn of Toni Storm, the numerous issues between Raquel Gonzalez and Rhea Ripley, I think I see Team Candice winning. Which I know you're going to pick because of Dakota.
How do you know? How do you say I'm going to be so goddamn biased, okay? Sometimes I can be unbiased.
But, yeah, I think I want to see Shotzi win here. Because I want her in the title picture. But I think because of Toni Storm, I think is the reason that I have to pick Team Candice.
Yeah, Toni Storm really is that X factor. Before the turn, we'd kind of expected her to be on Team Shotzi. When you're trying to build this team, you're like, okay, this makes sense. Maybe we could have a women's title match outside of this. And then she turns, and you're like, okay, now the advantage moves with Toni Storm.
Yeah. I think another reason why I can't pick Team Shotzi is because Io's on it. And you have Ember Moon and Rhea Ripley, who both really want Io's title. And I think at the end, at some point, some miscommunication is going to happen. And it's going to cost... And Shotzi's going to end up taking the pin.
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? But yeah.
War, what's it good for?
Absolutely nothing. But you were correct. I am going to pick Dakota Kai. I mean Team Candice. It was a good guess. But yeah, I think Team Candice is just a little bit more stacked with the addition of Toni Storm. And that's all that it comes down to. Whichever team had Toni, it's Toni time for them. And let's get on to this last match. It is the men's Wargames match. It's the Undisputed Era, who have been in every men's Wargames match from the start in NXT, taking on Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, Danny Burch, and Oney Lorcan.
This, I think, is going to be an absolute war, the pardon the pun.
I shall not pardon it.
I think the Undisputed Era will bring out the best of Pat, because we all know the tag team champions and Pat and Pete Dunne are absolutely amazing. I think in the end, I think Kyle O'Reilly turns on the Undisputed Era.
What?
And they reveal that Kyle O'Reilly has been the leader all along, and Pat's just been the mouthpiece. And
okay.
And Kyle O'Reilly ordered the hit on Adam.
This is some M. Night Shyamalan twisty here.
Yeah. Besides, what would be the fun to have Roderick Strong turn in this match again?
Yeah, it's fair. The only time they didn't compete as a foursome unit was when Roderick Strong in the first one ended up turning and joining them.
So I think I see Pat McAfee and his group winning this. And I think the image we see at the end will be Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Bobby Fish laying flat on their back as Kyle O'Reilly, Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, Danny Burch, and Oney Lorcan celebrate over them.
Okay. Not only are we predicting winners of matches now, we are predicting final shots of the show. You heard it here first, folks. This is exactly what you're gonna get. Anything else, then Josh lied to you.
My wild out of place prediction would be that it's actually Adam Cole that turns.
Okay. He ordered the hit on himself.
Nobody would see that coming. Yeah, nobody would see that coming.
I definitely would not see Adam Cole ordering the hit on himself coming.
Who says that he was actually attacked? That would be the argument.
Yeah, I guess.
Nobody actually saw him being attacked. They just saw him carried out to the ring.
Now you're making me believe this theory. But it is time for our entrance theme of the week this week. We are going to be playing a medley of entrance themes, varying from the Honky Tonk Man through to Chris Jericho and Sami Zayn to round it out. And when we get back from the medley, we'll get over to Raw and SmackDown and take a look at those. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MPR. I'm Grady, he's Josh. Raw and SmackDown. Where do you want to start? You can pick anything. And I know I've thrown you for a loop.
It looks like we're getting our next feud for the Universal Championship.
Let's go Universal. Yeah, it looks like Mr. Big Kev is setting himself up in a position to try and swing after the title.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised they're doing it this soon, but at the same time, I'm not that surprised, because this is a big match. We have Kevin Owens, who's popular, I'll say. He's not as popular as he was like a year ago or something, but he's popular, and then you have Roman Reigns, who's just been nuclear since coming back as a heel. I think it'll be a good match. It'll probably be It'll probably end up being the TLC match.
Yeah.
If I had to guess. I am interested in the promos because I think they'll be fire. I think Roman's finally in a position where he can actually be allowed to cut good promos, and he's been doing it. You notice that in this entire run with Heyman hasn't been carrying the promos.
No.
It's been Roman Reigns himself, with just Heyman in the background sometimes. So I'm interested. We know Kevin Owens doesn't win the title. unless there's some shenanigan that happens. But I think the shenanigan to take the title off Roman isn't until like February.
Okay. Yeah, it is entirely possible. We just do have to wait and see. I think you're right. Owens Reigns in a TLC match, probably what we're going to end up getting. When you look around at that SmackDown roster, there's not a lot of guys that I'd throw in there before KO. So I think it's going to work out well. As you say, the promos will be great. The back and forth between them. And yeah, it's should be a good one to see how it develops over the weeks. At the moment, obviously, it's Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso is how they're building this. Daniel Bryan is there a little bit as well. So there's a potential maybe after or next, or to involve him in there.
Yeah, I could see Daniel Bryan maybe being the Royal Rumble challenger. So yeah, I could see that being a possibility. I really don't know who's going to be the one that takes the title off of Roman at this point. But I don't think it's going to be Kevin Owens unless they decide to really swerve us.
Wouldn't be the first time.
No. I mean, they did swerve us with giving him the title the first time, so It's possible.
It's definitely possible, not probable. But yeah, we'll have to see how Daniel Bryan plays into this feud heading into TLC. Whether he's more of a standby person, or whether he's actually going to have an active role in the feud or not. We just don't know yet. Yeah. Where else can we go? We've got a little bit of time left. Not a whole lot of time, but a little bit of time. Let's jump over to Raw, because much like we were talking about a new challenger for the Universal Championship, we now know our new challenger for the WWE Championship as well. As AJ Styles wins the triple threat match against Keith Lee and Riddle, cementing Drew versus AJ Styles at the pay-per-view.
Exactly as we thought, and exactly as we didn't actually want.
It'll still be a good match.
Yeah, it'll be a great match. Don't get me wrong on that. But yeah, I just really like the idea of Keith Lee or Matt Riddle challenging for the WWE Championship, because it would be so random. But yeah, AJ Styles is the safe pick.
So yeah, it'll be those two presumably at TLC. We're sort of getting this weird piece coming into it as well, because much like we saw when Randy was champion and he had to deal with McIntyre, and he also had this sort of side secondary feud with The Fiend at the time, Drew McIntyre, while having AJ Styles there to deal with as his main feud, he's also teaming up with Sheamus and taking on Miz and Morrison as sort of a side feud with that briefcase still floating around as well.
Yeah. I can't imagine we go much longer without The Miz cashing in. In all honesty, it should have happened already, but it didn't. But yeah, I think it's the cash-in comes soon. Whether he wins the title or not is still up in the air.
Yeah.
But I think around TLC, I think at some point in that window of shows.
Yeah.
TLC, Raw, somewhere around those two shows, I think at some point the briefcase will get cashed in. And Miz will either become the champion or become the third to fail the cash in.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that briefcase. Personally, I'm quite enjoying the little bit of a McIntyre Sheamus buddy team up, and may potentially lead to a feud down the line between the two of them. But yeah, as you say,
you know what? Let's give you your ultimate dream. Royal Rumble, Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus for the WWE Championship.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Sometimes we give me what I want.
I think that would be an amazing match, and I think it would be an amazing moment for the two of them, because I know they're good friends, and they've worked so hard together to get to where they are in the WWE, and to have Drew having the success that he's having, I think it would be a great little moment just to give them a title match, even if it's not at the pay-per-view. Maybe he survives TLC, and then they have the match on Raw. He has an open challenge, and Sheamus answers it, and that's how they give them a one-on-one title match between the two of them, which then would result in Miz cashing in because they destroy each other.
No, you can't bring up my hopes like that, and then you throw in Miz. But I like the Miz too, so now you're conflicting me.
Well, they would have the match. It would be a great match, and then it would be Aftermath with Miz.
Okay. I'll let it happen. I'll let it slide this once. Not that I get to decide, or that my sway has anything to do with what WWE do, but I'll let it happen. They have my permission. Alright, Vince, you can go ahead with it. I have approved it. We've got a little bit of time. Let's also just look at this Raw Women's division at the moment as well, because seemingly Asuka's two next challengers are the women's tag team champions. You know, we've kind of known that for a little while. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, sort of the two stronger women on Raw, seem to be lining that up. But now Asuka is teaming with Lana, picking up wins over them, and it sort of muddies that water a little bit. I don't know where we're actually going to go with the Raw Women's Championship anymore.
I don't know, but I think they really need to give Lana an actual partner, and let them take the tag titles.
Yeah.
Please don't be Asuka. That was a little moment. It builds Lana up to have her beside Asuka. But we don't need double champions. Not anymore. It worked for Sasha and Bayley because it was their characters. But we don't need double champions in women's division.
You're going to get double champions and you're going to like it.
So, yeah, find somebody to partner with Lana. And then they can sneak out the titles away from Jackson Baszler. That blows that tag team up, and then that frees them to go after Asuka.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a plan. Book it all in. But as I say that, I do look at the clock, and we have run out of time for this week. It's been great talking to you.
Bye.
You can visit our Facebook page, twitter.com/WrestlingRadio, Twitter page, twitter.com/WrestlingRadio, and we'll catch you next week with the result from NXT TakeOver Wargames.